Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Gulfstream Park here on Friday. It is March the 29th, 2019. I'm going to look at the stakes races on the program from Gulfstream, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me tomorrow for the Florida Derby. Also, tomorrow's the Dubai World Cup, and also tomorrow is the opening of the British Flat season from Doncaster, and I will have previews and selections for all those cards here on YouTube. But today's card from Gulfstream is very good. We have three stakes races, and we're going to look at them, and I'm going to give you out a pick three play here. So we'll look at all the stakes races, races 8, 9, and 10. So races 8, 9, and 10. Let's get on to it. The eighth race from Gulfstream Park, it's the Skip Away Stakes. It's going for a purse of $100,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 7 horses going the distance of ground of 1,900 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 3/16 on the Gulfstream Park main track. 1,900, a mile 3/16. And I show the diagram. It just gives me that little extra second to look down my notes. Just bear with me. This race, every year it seems like this race is run at a different distance. It used to be run at a mile and an eighth. Then it was run at a mile 3/16 for the longest time, and then back to a mile and an eighth. Now it's back to a mile 3/16. And I like it at a mile 3/16 because you don't see a lot of races run at that distance here in America very often. I like the way this race is situated. It gives you enough time to, as a kind of a local prep race for the Pimlico Special, which comes up in about 7 weeks time. So it's good spacing between races, and I believe this race might actually be a win and you're in for the Pimlico Special, because I know the other race later on, the Orchid, is kind of a win and you're in for an undercard race at Pimlico on Preakness weekend. But I like this race, and I like the distance. It's going to be the first mile 3/16 race at Gulfstream in about 3-4 years. So good to see. But my top selection here, I'm going to take the 7-horse Rocketry. I'm going to go 7-3-5-1 in the superfecta. 7-3-5-1 super. My top selection Rocketry will be used on the pick 3, along with the 3-horse Zulu, and along with the 5-horse Marconi. So 7-3-5 here in the pick 3, 7-3-5-1 in the superfecta. But the top selection, 7-horse Rocketry. This 5-year-old horse by Hardspun. Jimmy Jerkins trains. Javier Castellano gets the mount, replacing Joao Rosario. But the horse's most recent outing came in the Grade 2 Marathon at Churchill, mile 3/4, November the 2nd. The horse won by 3/4 length. From a wide post draw, he sat back early, had a great turn of foot around the fourth turn, and or third turn, whatever the fuck it was, and he just took off clear at the end. It was a very good victory. He stayed the distance. He's a stayer here in America, which you don't see a lot, but he loved the trip. Before that, in the Temperance Hill Invitational at Belmont, a mile 5/8 on the 30th of September. The horse won by 1.5 there. He sat back early in a small group of horses, but slowly moved up. He got the lead, and then he held on to a very good victory, a good run. And actually, in track record time, he broke Manowar's 98 or 99-year-old track record, which is quite impressive there. And then before then, the turf at Saratoga, mile 5/8 in the John's Call, he finished 5th by 2 lengths. He had a little bit of a turn of foot, but he had a lot of trouble trip that day. And then Obsolete Claymore at Saratoga, mile 3, July 21st. He finished 3rd by half length. It was an all-out finish. He just couldn't get the good closing kick. And then he finished a good 4th in the Belmont Gold Cup, going the 2-mile staying trip back in June. He's going to like the longer trip. He should handle the dirt. He didn't handle it last time out. But the biggest question with him here today is, first thing, is there going to be enough pace for him to close up? Because he doesn't look like he has a lot of front-end speed. If he can close up, I think he's definitely the horse to beat. But he's still a little vulnerable, I think, in spots. I think the 3-horse Zulu, he'll probably go to the front end, and if he gets some easy fractions, I think he can win. Last time out, he did win a very nice starter stakes here at Gulfstream a few weeks ago in the Old Hickory. Won by nose. He stalked early on, he got the lead, and then he took off. Very nice victory. Before that, going 6 furlongs at Gulfstream, Ops 50 Clamour, he finished 3rd by 2.5 lengths there, and he just didn't have the best of trips, couldn't get into it. And then he won a very nice Optional Claimer at Gulfstream back in December. He's another horse. I think he'll sit a little bit closer, and he's in the kind of horse, if he gets some easy fraction, I think he'd go wire to wire. So at 3-1, I'll use him here, along with the 5-horse Marconi, a $2 million purchase for for Bridal Wood Farm and Michael Tabor and the Coolmore Group. Top Pleasure trains one. Luis Saez gets the leg up. This horse hasn't been seen. He's only had one outing in the last year. That came a few weeks ago here at Gulfstream, 1 mile and up to 25 Claymore. He finished fourth by 2.5 lengths. He needed the race. Never really quickened up. He wasn't 100% fit. I think coming here second off the break, getting a longer distance, which I think this horse will really like. I think he's going to really do well. He seems like the kind of horse that's going to be a classic distance kind of horse. Before that, he ran the last year's Bluegrass. He finished 8th by 8 lengths. He was very wide, and he just never got into it. And then ran the Fountain of Youth last year, where he finished 5th. Again, he was closing up a little bit at the end, but it wasn't the day to win. I think the mile 316 should suit him, and I think with a good post show second off the break, he's another horse at 6-1. You just definitely want to use on your pick 3 or pick 4 ticket. So to recount my selections for the 8th from Gulfstream, it's the Skip Away Stakes. I'll take the 7-horse Rocketry as top selection. I'll go 7-3-5-1 in the superfecta. I'll go 7-3-5 in my pick 3. So now let's get to the 9th race from race number 9 from Gulfstream. It is the Appleton Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $100,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 1,600 meters with the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Gulfstream Park on the turf course. 1,100, 1 mile. The rails are out at 60 feet. So that's the outer portion of the turf course. I believe there are 3 rail settings today. 120, 60, and then the 0 rail setting. But my top selection here in the Appleton, I'm going to go to the number 3 horse, Holiday Stone. I'm going to go 3-4-9-5 in the superfecta. 3-4-9-5 super. My top selection of 3 horse, Holiday Stone, will be used in the pick 3 along with the 4 horse, Hawkish, and the 9 horse, Dr. Mounty. But the top selection of 3 horse, Holiday Stone, 5-year-old horse by Harlan's Holiday, best to be remembered by winning the 2002 Florida Derby, I believe, or something like that. George Weaver trains. Luis Saez picks up the mount. But the horse's most recent outing came the 2nd of March here at Gulfstream, 1 mile on the grade 3 Canadian turf, and he finished 3rd by 2 lengths. He had a little bit of turn of foot that day, but he just kind of was a little erratic, which cost him at the end. It wasn't the day to win. Before then, the El Prado here at Gulfstream going about 7.5 on the 9th of February. He finished 10th by 5.25 lengths there, and he just never got into it. The speed held up that day, and it just wasn't his day to win. And then here in the Tropical Turf at Gulfstream, 1 mile, January 12th, he finished 6th by 8.25 lengths, and he stalked early on. He just couldn't get the run, but those were tougher fields. I don't think this race is not nearly as tough, and I think he'll get a better run here on the front end. He has started here at Gulfstream Park 5 times and has 1 victory under his belt here. That 1 victory came quite a while ago, back in early 2017. But he's run, if you look at the races over the summer, he ran some good races. He won a very nice lounge race at Saratoga, winning by a head. Beating some decent horses there, and then he placed in some good races in the country, but then he ran some shit races also. He's very inconsistent, but I think coming here, better workout lines as of recently, has a better post draw today. I think he's another horse at 6-1. He could get a piece of it, along with the 4 horse Hawkish. This 4-year-old gelding by Artie Schiller, the 2005 British Cup Mile at Belmont. But James Toner trains this one. I Rider Tees Jr. picks up the mount. He's facing Olders for the first time. His most recent outing came last July at Belmont, a mile quarter in the Grade 1 Belmont Derby. He finished 7th by 11 lengths there, and he was very wide that day and just didn't show up. It wasn't the day to win. Catholic Boy won next start out in the Travers, keep in mind. Before then, the Penn Mile at Penn National, Grade 2 event going a mile on the June the 2nd. This horse won by 3 lengths. He, early on, he didn't have the best of beginnings. He kind of, a little erratic in the stretch, but he still took off clear. It was a very good run, and then he won in a very nice Aqueduct, the lounge race last April, winning by 4 3/4, going away with it at 45 cents to the dollar. It doesn't get any easier than that. He has started here at Gulfstream twice last winter. Most recently on the 3rd of March of 2018 in the Grade 3 Palm Beach, going mile 16th, where he finished 4th by 3 lengths. He finished 4th behind Maraud, who was a decent horse. He just never got that good turn of foot. He never quickened up and never weakened out of either. He just kind of stayed the distance, and then he broke his mane before that Gulfstream very nicely. He's another horse. He's been training well. I think he's rearing to go, and I think at 2-1 he could get a piece of it, but it's a shit odd, I know. And I think the 9 horse Dr. Mounty is a good horse also. He's going to be the closer scenario here. The 6-year-old horse by Street Sense. Shug McGahee trains. Javier Castellano picks up the mount. This horse won the Tropical Turf very nicely a few weeks ago here. He won it by a length. He sat back early, had a great turn of foot. He was clear of all the rivals, and it was a good effort. Before that, he ran the Fort Lauderdale, though, here at Gulfstream, mile 16th on the mile 8th on December the 15th, and he finished 8th by 8 lengths there, and he had nothing. Was way out of it and just did not show up. And then the Richard Small at the Laurel mile 8th, November 10th on the turf, on the dirt. He finished third by 2 lengths. He was closing up well. It was a decent effort. And then before that, Laurel in the Baltimore Washington D.C. Turf Cup, he won by a nose. He sat back early. He got there in the nick of time. He held on at 26-1. That was a good run. He's another horse. I think he should handle the turf course. He should handle the good pace in front of him. And I think at 3-1, he's a horse you want to use on your ticket also. So to recap my selection for the ninth from Gulfstream, it's the Appleton Stakes, the Grade 3 Appleton. I'll take the 3-horse Holiday Stone as the top selection. I'll go 3, 4, 9, 5 in the superfecta. I'll go 3, 4, 9 in the pick 3. So now let's get on to race number 10 from Gulfstream, which is the featured of the afternoon. It's the Orchid Stakes. It's a Grade 3 event going for a purse of $100,000. Race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 9 horses going the distance of ground of 2,200 meters, or the distance of ground of a mile 3/8 on the Gulfstream Park lawn of the turf course. 2,200 meters, a mile 3/8 turf course. The rail's at 0 feet, so that's the inner portion of the turf course. And last year they put this race on hiatus because I guess some money problems, but they did run a kind of a race with similar conditions on this day last year called the Soaring Softly Stakes, but instead of being worth 200 or 100, it was run at 75,000. But it's good to see this race back, the Orchid, because it's one of those good races that you usually see some, you'll see a lot of these horses end up in some of the better races for the fillies and mares later in the year, and you'll probably see some of these horses end up in the British Cup at Santa Anita later this fall, or at a place to be determined if it's not going to be run at Santa Anita. But my top selection here in the Orchid, I'm going to go to the number 9 horse, Santa Monica. I think she's one of the better mares in our country at this time, and she's probably better than most of the boys in this division, the longer staying turf division, because there's not that good horse. But I think she'll like the distance, and I think she'll run well. I'll go 9-1-5-7 in the superfecta, 9-1-5-7 super. I'll go 9-1 in the pick 3 to end it off. For 50 cents play, this pick 3 is gonna cost $9 or so, or somewhere around there. It's very affordable. But the top selection, 9 horse Santa Monica. 6-year-old mare by Master Craftsman. Chad Brown trains. Irad Ortiz Jr. picks up the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 26th of January here at Gulfstream. A mile and a half on very soft ground, or yielding ground, in the Grade 2 La Proviante. The horse finished second by length. She closed up well on ground she probably did not like. She ran a good effort. She ran a good race there. Before then, the Breeze Cup filly mare turf at Churchill, mile 3/8 on very soft ground again, November 3rd. She finished 10th by 13.5 lengths, and she never got into it. It just wasn't the day to win. And then the E.P. Taylor at Woodbine, mile and a quarter, on October the 13th. The horse finished third by length. She just stayed the distance, and she never quickened up, never weakened out of it either. And then she ran in the Glen Falls at Saratoga, where she finished second by 2 1/4 lengths. The winner was on lead author at some easy fraction. This horse just couldn't get to it. And then she won the Dance Smartly very nicely. And then before that, she broke her maiden. She won her North American debut at Keeneland very nicely, going a mile and a half. I think she's a live horse here, and I think she'll get a piece of it. I wonder what's next for she goes to the Sheep's Head Bay at Belmont in about a month's time, or does she go to the Searching Stakes at Pimlico, a new race going a mile and a half on Preakness weekend, because you get an automatic berth to that race. So that's good. Another horse I'll use here as a little bit of a price play for my pick 3 would be the 1 horse hopefully I said the right, pardon me if I don't, Marlborough. This 4-year-old filly by Lawman gets Julien Leperoux up. This horse is making his American debut, first time Lasix, first start stateside, but most recently ran in France on the 27th of October at Saint-Cloud, a mile 5/16 in the Group 3 Prix de la Fleur, and the horse finished 6th by 9.5 lengths. Never got into it. It wasn't the day to win. Before that, in the Prix de Royalou at the Group 3 Prix de Royalou at Longchamp, mile 9/16 on soft ground on the 6th of October. The horse finished 6th by 4.5 lengths there. He set the pace early on, but then he just squeaking out of it, couldn't keep up there. And then the Prix de Lencourt at Longchamp, mile 5/16 September the 2nd. The horse went by a neck. He stalked early on. He got the lead, then he held on. A very good race. He's the kind of horse, he couldn't keep up with the better group horses in France, but against the listed stakes quality horses, he did keep up. I think coming here, first time Lasix, been training well at pace, and I think he's a horse that's very live, and I think at 12 to 1, he's a horse you definitely want to use as a price on your pick 3, so maybe you could catch price if Santa Monica doesn't show up. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Gulfstream, it's the grade 3 Orchid. As a top selection, I'll take the 9 horse Santa Monica. I'll go 9-1-5-7 in the superfecta. I'll go 9-1 to end off this pick 3. So go back to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKit5. Good luck, everybody.